Property Pulse.
With Espas Real Estate. Think Dubai Real Estate. Think Espas Real Estate.
Yeah, talking property, particularly commercial property, offices. Morgan Curtin is head of commercial Espas Real Estate. He's in the studio. Morning, Morgan.
Good morning, Rich. How are you?
I'm good, thanks very much indeed. Okay, we know the real estate residential market is booming, and that is what we traditionally associate with Espas Real Estate. But you were in a few months ago setting up the commercial division of Espas Real Estate.
Yes.
And you're saying deals are already getting done, and quite big deals.
Yes, quite big deals. The team is growing. Everything is going very, very well for us, yeah.
Okay, so the one deal you told me about was a deal you did last week. What can you tell us about that deal?
So at the moment, the biggest problem we have is supply and demand. The demand is there. We have a lot of actual residential clients now looking at buying in commercial space as well because the yields are so high. So what we have is we have low stock, very, very high demand. Last week we closed the full floor in Marina Plaza, the building that we're actually in as well. An EMAR building, grade A, very, very high quality building. We sold the full floor at just over 56 million dirhams. It's currently rented, fully occupied at a very, very low yield of only 2%.
Wow.
Yeah. So when people say that, it's like, why would someone purchase something like that? It's because it's the future. It's the buying price of what you can actually get these full floors at now. Like the stock is extremely, extremely low. Some of my investors aren't understanding the new off-plan situation that you need to start buying off-plan next. They can buy a situation like that, very, very low yield at a decent market price, still a small bit above market price because it's a seller's market at the moment in commercial, but it puts that buyer in a position that next year, after like eviction notice were already given to the tenants before he purchased, so next year he can decide what rents he gets.
Okay, so it's 2% at the moment, legacy rents.
Exactly.
But next year it's going to be different.
Well, based on today's market rate, if today was next year, for example, he will be able to achieve 10 to 12% no problem.
Okay.
If it's going to increase the way it should increase with how things are going in the market, hopefully we'll achieve a small bit more.
And with commercial real estate, there's not the same rent protection that residential tenants have. There's some, but it's not the same. And that's typical of a lot of markets, isn't it?
It is. Like it's very much so that you can go by RERA as per the residential as well. But when you're signing a commercial deal, if you want to get the best price, if you want a long contract, it's very much dictated by the landlord. If he wants 5% increases every year, if he wants a 10% increase every third year, it's very much so in the negotiation between us as our job, the landlord and the new tenant, yeah.
Okay, fine. So that's an existing property, but you said investors are looking at off-plan, buying floors, not in Marina Plaza, which has been built for, I don't know, 10, 15 years or so, but in stuff that isn't built yet. Where are people buying? So
at the moment, you have like Business Bay, JLT, DIFC. They're the main predominant areas in the whole of Dubai regards commercial space. Business Bay, Omniat have just launched 2 projects, so you have a luxury residential brand now moving into the commercial sector as well. They've sold off both their projects. Both their projects are completely sold out. You have AHS Tower, again, a luxury residential brand now moving into the commercial market as well. They only have, I think it's like 10% left, and they only launched it 2 months ago. So the market's getting there. I'm still trying to slowly teach my investors that, like, if you were to purchase a residential off-plan, you're doing it for capital appreciation, you're doing it for growth, you're doing it for a higher yield in the future. People need to start seeing, but that's also the way commercial needs to go now because the stock just isn't there in the second-hand market anymore.
Okay, well, let's talk about more broadly about the real estate market. You're working in commercial now, but you do have experience in the residential market. Can you have a listen to this guy? He was on the show earlier on this week, sitting in the very chair where you are now. He's Aziz Al-Samurai, and he's from Moody's, the ratings agency. They had a report out last week predicting a bit of a price correction in Dubai real estate. Not massive, a moderate one. There's a pair of headphones, I think, to your left, Morgan. To your right. Oh, there we go. Yeah, you got them. Pop those on. Tom, can we hear from Aziz from Moody's?
Looking good, Mogs. Liking that. You know, got the cans on there. Right, here we go. Here comes the chat.
We do expect around 150,000 units of homes to be delivered between the period of 2025 to 2027. So if you think about this, this is around 50,000 units delivered every year from now until 2027. From our estimates, we do believe that in order for these homes to be observed, we should see the city adding around 200,000 residents every year for now until 2027, which is slightly higher than the average residence additions for the last 10 years of 150,000. For these reasons, we do see modest price correction.
Modest price correction. Last time we had a ratings agency saying that, Fitch, predicting 15%. We had brokers like you in the studio, almost placards outside, outraged that anyone could suggest this. Let's be a little bit more measured. What do you make of what he has to say?
Well, listen, predictions are predictions, okay? Regards the commercial sector, which I'm predominantly in, I can't agree with that. Why? Because the supply isn't there and the demand is through the roof. We had over 70,000 businesses register in Dubai just last year. This year, we haven't got the figures out yet, but we're going to imagine that it's going to be at least 10% higher than that, with less supply. I'd like to think if Jake Hubbard, who you've met many times, or the head of Offplan, if he heard this, he'd have a much more valid argument to give back a bit. But look, Dubai is still a massively growing place. My argument to that would be that predictions are predictions, facts are facts. There isn't enough space in the commercial real estate market right now in Dubai.
Well, we got Alex Pearson, your colleague, Associate Director, in the studio in a couple of minutes' time. Maybe he can weigh in on that.
Yeah, let's
one.
put it back on Alex.
Exactly. Yeah, just pass the buck. Let's talk about where this supply could come. You mentioned those downtown areas, DIFC in downtown, Marina, JLT, Business Bay. I get that. But what about moving out? What about going out to the area around Expo and Dubai South?
So Expo City is launching non-stop projects. They're giving out great prices. Like Siemens have just took 150,000 square foot of office space out there.
That's a big old unit.
The World Trade Center is moving from DIFC the whole way down there as well. So like, there's all these things happening. You've Maktoum Airport. You've got a lot of stuff happening in Dubai South. Jebel Ali.
How much cheaper is it to get a big office like Siemens has done out there versus Business Bay, say?
Honestly, it's not much. There's not much variation in the price.
Really?
It's just the office space. If you want to lease 150,000 square foot in Business Bay, you're going to spend a few weeks trying to find it, and it's not going to be in one building, 100%. So that's why they're offering them options for big floor spaces. People will say, well, that will free up a lot of space in Business Bay. It won't, because it wasn't there in the first place. So like we still have the same problem. The supply just is not there. That's why I think Offplan is the next route investors should go in commercial, because companies still want to open up here. It's 9% corporation tax, Rich. No one, and it's also, you have to remember, the tax income is zero. If you want to open up in London next week, okay, and you want to open a business in London, and you're
10 seconds, final thought, Morgan.
You're trying to employ 10 people in London, okay? London, they're on 100k each, paying 40% income tax. Open a company in Dubai, would you like to move here? No income tax. It's a no-brainer. And 9% corporation tax, it's lower.
Morgan Curtin, Head of Commercial Espas Real Estate, always good speaking to you. Appreciate your time.